Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Dude, the Rhino might be back, bro.
Football.
Yeah. Let's get it. Dude. Yes, there he is. 10-plus year NFL vet, the Rhino himself,
Bro.
Alex Boone, ready to dive into the trenches. Trench warfare.
What a trench warfare game.
What happened in that game?
That was insane. Insanity.
I mean...
you know what it was? Honestly, I think when everybody saw that Josh Allen was playing, even including myself, it was kind of one of these things where it was like, it's going to be one of those games, can they keep up? And it was like the bully got bullied most of the game. Like it was a slug match both ways, you know what I'm saying? But in the end, the bully ended up getting bullied. And it was something that I guess I just didn't expect to see. But when I saw it, like Pat P catching that interception in the end zone, just solidified that this is a really, really battle-tested team. You can go into their house with their fan base being animated as hell, being crazy, like jumping through tables and doing whatever that's just super awesome and fun, but at the same time gets them going. And you can go into overtime and let Josh Allen take the ball. And when he started running around all over the field, I got nervous, okay? I was like you, Phil. I got really nervous. Like,
I'm
man,
always nervous. I'm just in a state of being nervous all the time.
You're giving up too much. Too easy. Like, I'm just watching it, and I was supposed to be at a hockey scrimmage, and I was like, I don't care. I'm not going anywhere anymore. I'm stuck here now. And it was just, but when Pat P made that interception, it was like a new team. Dude, it was like a sigh of relief, and almost like, because for weeks people have been like, I know they're just going to let me down. I know they're just going to let me down. But man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
That was just one of the most, there's so many angles to this, but it was crazy. Validating. It was, I even said, because obviously it was sort of lucky that, it was kind of lucky that from the Bills' perspective that Cousins didn't just sneak it in from a yard and win, and essentially win the game in the fourth. But then when they stopped the quarterback sneak, yes, a ton of luck involved in the quarterback dropping the snap and you recovering it. So like there was luck on both sides. But I even said, if they would have lost the game, let's say they would have gone down 20, they're down by 17, they come all the way back and they come up 1 yard short, then you tell me if I'm an idiot here. If they lose that game on a half yard line quarterback sneak that comes up just short, I still think they board that plane thinking, we just went into Buffalo. We had that. We had that. We now know we belong. But to win it gets you even the extra juice. Am I wrong on that? Would you have felt that way even if you lost?
Yeah. For sure. Like, you feel like, hey, you know what? We are contenders. I don't care what anyone says. Like, in the back of your mind, and that's one of those, like, stupid little wins that come with a loss where you're like,
a little moral victory there.
Yeah, like, hey, we didn't get blown out, right? Like, that's one of those things where you're on the plane, you're looking at your friend like, hey, we put up some points. Put up some yards. We did our thing, right? We're pretty good today. Yeah? No? Okay. All right. Never mind. No, but I agree with you 100%. And the fact that they won and the way that they did, and it was just such a team effort to me. It was so awesome. Total team effort. And that's what's so fun to watch. And it can be really at times crazy, but you're playing the number one AFC team in the NFL in their house in a cold game where you play in a dome normally. And he's got this crazy wicked arm, right? Like, it was exact. That would have been if that were the Super Bowl, I'm cool, man. I'm all about it. That's how you want it to go all the way down to the bitter end, and all of a sudden Pat P makes the interception, and you're like, you know what? That's how you win a game. That was fun.
I think too. Like I went back. I was curious. It just hasn't felt like the Vikings in the last few years have beaten many winning teams on the road, and so they actually had 20 cracks at it since Kirk Cousins got here. They've had 20 cracks at beating a team that finished the season with a winning record between 2018 going into this year, right?
Is this one of your silly statistics? Hold on.
All right, bust out your notebook. Bust out your calculator.
So you're telling me that since Kirk has been here, there's been 20 chances to play a team.
To beat a winning team on the road. Okay.
At the end of the year, they were a winning team.
Correct. Yes.
Got it.
So,
okay.
So, 2018, they beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. They turned out to be a 9-win team, so they were barely a winning team.
Okay,
But it happened 4 times total between 2018 and 2021.
Okay.
But they've already done it at least twice. The Dolphins, now they start a backup quarterback, but the Dolphins are going to be a winning team. The Commanders might actually be a winning team at 5-5 now. They knocked off the Eagles last night. And then this game, so I just feel like if you're trying to, size yourself up, tail the tape, are you an actual Super Bowl contender? Beating winning teams on the road is a huge sign, I think.
Agreed, 100%. And now here's my next question, because you already just said the Commanders. I wonder if they left the Vikings game going, hey, pretty good.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like all of a sudden these guys, and that's where these teams build this new life. And you're like, wait a minute, the Washington Commanders are good out of nowhere. And you're like, well, wait a minute, they did take the Vikings. They're playing pretty tough. And they went and took Philly. Well, okay, like this is how fun things happen, and it's cool because all these people now are going to jump on the bandwagon. Everybody's clearly jumping on the bike. Oh, I knew they'd be good, and this is where Odell's going to land, and it's going to be incredible. And you're like, yeah, man, that's cool. But then you start to wonder, too, like, would something like that happen on a team like this? Because there has been a little bit of chatter about the OBJ. And it's kind of like and I'm just saying.
I love that you're throwing this steam out here. So
I am.
He's going to pick a team soon. Maybe
by the end of November.
This week, right?
Yeah, because he's cleared.
I wonder if that win over the Bills, and LSU guys, Justin Jefferson, OBJ, right. How do you not? Now, apparently the Vikings weren't on his short list of 3 teams last week, but he's got the Kevin O'Connell connection. He's got the Justin Jefferson connection.
You've
this
been
team
here, this offense. You can kind of maybe show a couple guys, a couple new things. Maybe we could run a couple different things because you're here.
Yeah.
I'm just floating it out there in the hopes that maybe it happens. But too,
why don't you pull a couple strings? You're connected enough,
dude. That would be. Because I'm in my mind, I have to be thinking that the Bills are probably one of the teams he was like, I would love. And now all of a sudden he's probably like, man, I don't want to go there. The landscape this season has changed with so many teams, both New York teams, obviously, the Commanders, like you said. I mean, there's so many, the Miami. I mean, there's so many teams that you're like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on right now that these teams, they're just well put together teams. And it's kind of showing a reverse opposite effect of we need these illustrious quarterbacks that are going crazy. I mean, look at Russ. They're still having troubles over there. And it's just one of these things where as long as you have a good team around you and a good mindset, I think that's one of the things that people overlook the Vikings. Because for years, people have just been coming so hard on them and coming down on them. But the minute Kevin O'Connell's here, he's like, hey, man, let's just have some fun. How about we just do that?
And
you're like, what? Yes. What's the formula? We've been saying it all along. You're just a good dude, and guys want to be around you, and they gravitate towards you, and they want to learn from you, and they want to give you their best because they're like, dude, that to me is enough. I just want to give you everything, coach. I mean, I'm just thinking about the way that Kendricks, this last game, forced to cover Diggs at times in really tough positions, and dude, I don't care who you are, that's tough. And then they ask you to play the run at the same time, but then you come up with this huge, phenomenal touchdown out of nowhere that and I know we're going to talk about it. But you come back to the whole mindset of him of he's having this really tough day. And I think it was a couple weeks ago I sent you. There was was it you that I sent that thing where they were talking about the Buffalo players that were acting dirty? Milano, remember? I sent you that clip, right?
You sent me a lot of stuff. I can't remember.
There was a clip I sent you about how the Bills are notorious for being these tough guys, and there was times where I'm watching in the game and Kendricks, they're just going after Kendricks really hard. 2 guys catching him, finding him. And I was like, man, but he kept coming back. And then he gets this touchdown. And just the way he was kind of he did his little thing where he was doing the catwalk or whatever. But
yeah.
But it was just that's who they are. They're these guys that just, we'll take a couple punches, but I'll tell you what, you're not going to break us. We're going to keep
That's the thing.
Relentless effort. I mean,
that's the thing about this team. Even Kirk, dude. Even it's funny because
how many hits did he take in that game where you were like, which Kirk's coming out, and he just kept staying. How many times did he get stepped on? My goodness, somebody would have killed somebody at this point.
I feel like we have 2 versions of Cousins. We've got the Clark Kent version with. That's the $20 shirt from Kohl's version at the podium, Kirk, right? We just got to look at the film, Kirk. that Kirk showed up in the first half and the early third quarter. One of the worst interceptions you'll ever see was the second interception he threw. I don't know if he thought that the Bills defender was a Vikings player, but it was just kind of classic.
You talking about the one where he got hit? You talking about the one where he got hit right away?
No. Well, he on the second interception, he got hit after he threw it, but the hit didn't really impact his throw. He just threw it right.
Okay.
The first one, I have to go back and look at the first one. The first one he kind of sailed. I think he was maybe getting hit when he threw it. But at that point, it felt like, okay, this is kind of, and I was even tweeting about this and just completely ate my words like an hour later. Like, we got a classic Kirk Cousins in a big game, and here he is, like, just come on, guy, calm down for a second.
Right.
And then it's like Kirk Cousins goes into the phone booth, and out comes Kirk O'Chains, like the Superman version of Kirk comes out. And he said, this is what I love about him now. I think in previous seasons, he throws bad interceptions, and then he just kind of shuts it down a little bit because he's like, oh, God, I'm not seeing the defense the right way, and he just turns into rapid-fire check-down Kirk. Mm-hmm. And this year, especially on Sunday, he throws a couple bad throws, bad interceptions, and he just keeps throwing darts down the field to Justin Jefferson, which is what you should do, you know? And it worked. That catch, 4th and 8, move over Freddie Mitchell's hands.
Incredible. 4th and 18. I mean, just the most ridiculous one-handed. The way that the defender had two hands on it, and you just see this mitt come from behind, grab it, and he turned his whole body around. They were destined to win that game, and that's why I keep coming back to this. Their mentality. No matter what you do to them, no matter what you say to them, they're just going to find a way to get it done. And that's what's so unique about this team. And unique about a lot of these teams that are playing really, like, winning right now. That people are like, this team sucked last year. How the hell are they playing well? And it's just because they don't need anyone to tell them how good they are. They're just going to come out there and they're going to play ball. And they're going to have fun. And you don't see fighting anywhere. And you don't see animosity anywhere. And after the game, everyone's laughing and taking their shirts off. And it's like, dude, put a shirt back on. Oh, my God. Like, this is getting weird. But that's what's so fun about it, is that you can just go out and be you, and everyone on the team has a good time doing it. And as long as you show up on Sunday and get the job done, I mean, Dalvin Cook breaking an 81-yard touchdown run, like, I didn't know. You want to talk about setting the tempo. Like, everyone's kind of like nail-biting game. Everyone's really excited. It's the back and forth, and all of a sudden he just takes one loose. And he took the entire defense within the first 2 seconds was done. You weren't catching him. There's no chance. Just broke it.
You know, that's yes. It was. You had the Dalvin home run. You had Justin Jefferson, one of his best games, best catch that he'll have maybe in his career.
Being mugged, no big deal.
You had the defense gave up a lot of yards, but came up with just huge plays when they. I mean, it's cliche like total team effort, but this was the definition of a total team effort. Here's another harebrained theory to throw at you, and you tell me again if I'm an idiot, but I think sometimes fans like Vikings vent line after that game was the most happy I've ever seen Vikings fans. It was as if they had won the Super Bowl because it was just such an unexpected, jubilant moment, right? And I've tried to say in the last couple days that win over Buffalo doesn't guarantee that you're going to go 16-1 now and smooth sail and stuff. You're probably, and not to be a buzzkill, but you're probably going to lose some games. You might even have a letdown against Dallas or something. So that win doesn't guarantee you like a 16-1 smooth sail. But what that win guarantees you is you now know what it looks and feels like to go on the road, be down by double digits. You have a reference point for coming back in a game like that.
Right.
And if you look at the Rams' journey to the Super Bowl last year, their last 3 games, so the division round, the conference championship, and the Super Bowl, all of those were 3-point games. I think there was a road game in there, maybe in the divisional round. But those were like grinded out. You're turning the ball over and stuff, but you find a way. And this team now has built up so many reference points, trailing.
Right.
Offense disappears for an hour, and they've still just managed to find a way to win regardless, right?
Yeah. They're battle tested and they're tough. And they're a resilient team. And like you said, they're not. This doesn't mean that they're going to go 16-1. Number one, if anything, I think it puts a huge target on your back because now everyone's like, okay, well, there's the bar. I think we know where the bar is set now. Now everyone needs to catch up to that bar, or else that's just you have no chance of making it to the Super Bowl. But to me, at the same time, I think what I'm most excited about is the mentality of the team, and that you don't hear these guys a lot in the media. You don't see them a lot in the media. You don't hear about what's going on, and that I think is so important. I've been thinking about that for a while. I was like, they're not flashy to me. They show that they have fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with having charisma and being silly and laughing and having fun when you're with the guys. Like, that's the moment that you want them to be like that. But there is something to be said about, like, you don't see them out on ESPN all the time or on NFL Network all the time talking like a lot of these guys, like, oh, now you see us, or, we're taking receipts. Like,
yeah.
You don't really hear anybody. And that, I think, is the most dangerous thing, is that you see this team that's, like, having fun, and they're showing you that it doesn't matter how we win as long as we win. And then all of a sudden you're like, but you don't hear anything else about it. Well, that's interesting, and that should be taken reference, because those are the guys you need to worry about the most, because those are the guys that sit back and they're watching everybody. And you're like, listen, these guys say they're the best, but we don't see it on the film. But when we play them, we're going to let you know. Like, the way that they went in there and attacked the Bills was so fun to watch. And at times it was a little maddening. Like, when all of a sudden the quarterback gets stepped out and he just heave-hoes one behind him. Like, you're like, dude, don't do that.
Ed Ingram stepped on his foot twice in that game, actually.
Oh, dude. That sideline was hot.
I do a film of both for you later on.
You want. And I'm not saying either way, because in that moment, when that nose tackle shifts down into that gap, in that very, very moment, you're like, dude, there's so much running through your mind that you're thinking, just step and get your foot down. So I'm not saying anyone's wrong, but I'm just saying, like, that's the one thing that when you get into these big games, the more reps you can have of that, the more you can have of, like, you're completely freaking out. Well, the second time you go into that situation, you're less frantic and you're less chaotic and it's less crazy and jumbled in your mind. You're like, number one, don't step on the quarterback. Number two,
how many times in your career as a guard did you step on your quarterback's foot? Did you ever do it?
Oh, yeah, once for sure. Twice. Once, maybe 3 times.
You have big feet. You probably did it in shotgun one time.
But then again, my splits were always super big because I knew I had big feet and there was a good chance I was going to step on somebody. But in that moment, and that's the one thing that nobody ever, like, really figures out, is, like, it's so hard to plan as much as you can practice and as much as you can go out there and really, like, put on the field. It's so hard to get that live rep moment where there's somebody breathing down your neck and you have to get it done. You know what I'm saying? In that moment, your body's like, I got to get this done no matter what. It's not thinking about, don't step on the quarterback. So when things like that happen in a big game, it's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? But then when it does happen, you're kind of like, okay, I've learned from it. So, like, I'm not saying that it's bad that he did that. I'm kind of almost glad, because it's like, hey, listen, you now know that in a big game like that, you should probably take a little bit bigger split, or you should get your foot down faster, or whatever. The quarterback knows now, hey, listen, maybe I shouldn't have stepped in your way or whatever. It's just, but to come through all those situations and then to get stopped on the one and then to have your defense go, I mean, I just can't get over how amazing it was in Buffalo. And it just, now everybody's all about this is it, and we knew it, and this is the team, and this, and it's like, man, I don't remember hearing all this like 4 weeks ago, but we'll let that be.
What you've kind of touched on just the vibes of this team feeling like Super Bowl vibes a little bit, where a team is gelling and it's a we thing, not an I thing, not a receipts thing. And you in your career, you were on some teams. I mean, hell, some of those 49ers teams, they had Super Bowl vibes.
Oh, yeah.
But then you were on, at least, especially that Vikings year, where things just kind of went haywire halfway through and the vibes were off. So, what can you explain to the audience? Because football's so weird in that vibes can just kind of carry you, it feels like. It's all of a sudden, a team that you didn't think at the beginning of the year, all of a sudden, like Pete Carroll's got the guys feeling good about themselves.
Right?
Like Kevin O'Connell, it seems like he's got these guys just feeling themselves and playing maybe stronger as a whole than you would have thought. What is that? Can you explain that feeling to the audience and how it can elevate a team and what it's doing to this team?
The biggest word I can say is momentum. I feel like it's the biggest momentum going into a game, because no matter what, you just always feel comfortable. You feel confident. I remember going into games thinking, like, if just our offense played today, would we win? Probably. But then think how badass our defense is. Oh my gosh. Like, you just go in thinking, man, we could probably mess up a couple plays today and get away with a good win. Like, throwing 2 interceptions and going into Buffalo, there was a formula, and I tried to find it in all my notes, and there's like 7 notebooks over here right now, and I have like 35 more. But there was a formula,
and there's a backgammon board, I think, hanging over your left shoulder right now.
Something, right? Like, my wife decorates all this stuff. She's the best. I love her. No, so you throw 2 interceptions. There's something about like the turnover margin in a road game and then it like decreases and increases and all these things. But you just think you're going, and the whole reason like they tell you all these things, and Tom Rathman used to have a sweet formula for it, and I used to try to find it, like I said, but I couldn't. But when you go on the road and you do something bad, the momentum shifts so much in the home team's favor, and they have the fan base behind them, and then all of a sudden everyone's going crazy, and no matter what happens, they still are a little riled up because they're like, wait, remember we got that interception, so don't worry, we're going to get another one. And then you do get another one, and you're like, okay, wow, now the heat's really getting put on. To be able to come back from all of that and still never feel like they were frantic. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when the offense doesn't put it in, the defense is still like, we got you. Calm down. We got this. Like, several times. That is so rewarding for a team. And you can feel the vibe, and everyone's just gelling off each other. And it's kind of like as the offense is coming out the field, the defense is like, don't worry, we got you guys. Yeah. We're going to take care of you. Or if the defense gives up a touchdown, the offense just stands right up and is like, hey, we got this. Don't worry. We're going to get it back for you. We owe you from that one time back in Philly. We didn't forget about that. We got you right here. I mean, it's just like this whole – and everybody's kind of like, yeah, you know what? They're right. They got this. They're going to be okay. And it's when you can go out there and Dalvin can bust an 81-yard run out of nowhere and just change the whole momentum back. And it's kind of like, yeah, we gave you that interception, but we're going to take this back from you. And we basically just pure stole it from you. We ran a simple zone off the left side, and this guy just busted one all the way down the field. Like, that is what takes the momentum that you gave them, and it brings it right back to you.
It seems like it spills over, too, just like during the practice week. So I had heard, I can't remember if this was reported or if it's just something I kind of heard behind the scenes, but I guess Patrick Peterson is putting in like a bunch of extra film study hours, and even he's like getting the position group together to watch extra film. And so he has his own weekly podcast, and I think it was posted today or yesterday, and he broke down the game-winning interception, and he said film study. And I don't know how smart it is because you might run into Buffalo again in about, second week in February. But he basically laid out how Gabe Davis, everything he had seen on film, and he was explaining stuff that's over my head, but he basically said, if Gabe Davis runs this type of route, he told one of his teammates, if he runs this type of route, I am intercepting this pass, and we are winning the game. And he saw the same thing he had been studying on film all week, and boom, he cuts in front, and right. It's like, I suppose if you're playing the way the Vikings are and you're experiencing success, you love your coaches, love your teammates, you might put in an extra 5 or 10 hours of film study during the week to try and get that extra edge or that tell on someone too, right?
I mean, I think so. And that should never really be the situation, but let's be honest. There are times where you go out in the week and you're just really frustrated and feel like you've watched film all day and you're like, you know what, I'm good, and the team's not doing well. But then when you're winning and all of a sudden your friends are like, hey, we should all watch film together, or we should stay late, or we should do this. It comes back to the whole vibe. If football is fun and guys are up there doing their thing and they're having a good time, and no matter how crazy the practices are, nobody's really feeling beat up or beat down, and they're like, let's watch all this film, let's be here as long as we possibly can, as opposed to a time where you're losing and things are not going well and you're like, I really just don't want to be here anymore. I just want to go home. I'll watch the film at home. And then you get home and you're like, I'll watch the film later. And then you never end up watching it. And it's the same thing over and over. It happens everywhere. And then all of a sudden you start winning and you're like, I want to be here some more. I'm not getting yelled at as much and everything's a lot of fun. And all of a sudden let's break this film down together. I want to be around you guys even more. This is great. You're not mad at me. I'm not mad at you. It's the whole vibe, and it's crazy. And people think I'm joking when I say that, but it's an emotional game. I mean, you look at Derek Carr out in Vegas after the game crying. Like, dude, you don't understand what these guys put in their bodies just to go to bed and wake up. And it's like, yeah, no, we got it. But you just got to execute a little bit better on game day. And all of a sudden, things will be a lot better. But you see how you're seeing guys, I think, now more emotional than ever. Because, number one, guys really are beat up. Like, you're starting to get to the middle of the season. Guys are getting, it's wearing on guys. Teams that are winning, that should be winning, are losing, and people don't have explanations for it. And all of a sudden, they're just starting to bust out and freak out a little bit more this year than ever. And that's why I feel so weird about these Vikings. Like, so excited, because no matter what was happening this year, no matter what anybody was saying, they never wavered in who they were. They were always just the same guys, having a good time all the time, always bringing each other up, always on the field just going crazy no matter what. You never see them freak out on each other like you do some of these other sidelines, where sometimes it can be a little fake. You know what I'm saying? Where you're like, dude, I don't know that everybody has to start yelling like that. It's only 3-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Like, the sideline is just erupted into total Gatorades being thrown at the offense. The offense is throwing it back. You're like, dude, it was one drive. What the hell? Like, that's what's so awesome to watch about this team. That you're down 17 points, and the offense just comes out like nothing's wrong. Hey, we're here to play, baby. We're here to have fun. Coach said, get out there. We're here. Let's do it. Let's see what the hell we can do.
It also feels like they haven't peaked yet, right? It
Right?
still feels like, I mean, they did score 33 points, including overtime. So the offense is, and I think I saw something too where after the bye, they're much more aggressive in like intentionally throwing passes further down the field and stuff. So like you can see that they're going in the right direction.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't feel like they've completely peaked yet either, even though they're 8-1 and they just beat the Bills on the road.
Which is
crazy.
Scary. That's even scarier. Like, we haven't seen them come out and just put their foot on someone's throat and just step down. Like, oh, our bad. We're just playing. No, we're not. We're for real today. Like, you're right. They kind of come out. They throw a couple punches. They take a couple. Right? And then all of a sudden, they're like, okay, no. We're back. We're here. We're here to do this. And then they come out and they lay out enough where you're like, hey, it came down to all the scorecards. We haven't seen them come out and just boom.
Yeah, that's good.
It makes you wonder what's coming down the pipe and which poor team is about to catch it. I mean, Dallas could be in for a root. Just like, we think we're Dallas. Jerry's like, oh, we're here to play ball. And all of a sudden, bam, just takes one right in the kisser. That would be hilarious.
The Cowboys were up by like 2 touchdowns in the second half against the Packers. And Mike McCarthy was the jolliest you've ever seen him, right? He's about to stick one on Rodgers and the Packers. Big smile. He's hugging everyone.
Right.
Mike McCarthy.
See him after the game?
Yeah.
Breaking stuff in half. How dare you? I mean, dude, he's going to be coming in here. But that's the thing, man. He's going to be overly aggressive. The Vikings are just going to be playing their game like, dude, we've been telling you guys we're not that team you want to play with. And they're going to catch another ass whipping this week. It's going to be hilarious.
Cowboys are 2.5-point favorites to start the week. I don't know about that one. Might go take the Vikings in that one. I'm not sure. We should fire someone real quick before we get into the
Fire a lot of people.
The film portion here.
I feel like this is the time of year where you can fire a lot of people and get away with it.
I'm gonna ask a dumb question. How many refs are on? How many refs are there? 10? How many officials?
Isn't there 12?
12?
Isn't there 12 now?
I want all 12 fired.
Which time?
From the Bills Vikings game this last Sunday. So two things happened in that game. And by the way, the 13th, whoever the guy is or the gal in charge of the inside 2 minutes automatic review.
Yeah.
So the NFL came out the next day and said, so Gabe Davis, the Bills are trying to come back and kick a field goal to go to overtime. And there's like 25 seconds left. And Gabe Davis makes a diving catch, full speed. Like, it was one of those where kind of looked like a catch. You're not sure. Definitely going to review that because you're inside 2 minutes. And they inexplicably did not. And it turns out that it wasn't a catch, but the Bills ran their next play and they wind up kicking the game-tying field goal. But the more egregious one, Booney, was probably with 5 seconds left in overtime. The Vikings are inside the 5-yard line looking to win the game with a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this. I remember watching this at live speed, and I think it was a handoff or a pitch to Dalvin Cook off to the right. And it looked like, oh, wow, the Bills really sniffed that one out. Holy. It was
really
like a 2-yard loss.
Yeah.
Wow. What did they spot on film? They didn't see that one. Didn't see that 2-yard loss coming, right? But looked like the Bills had 12 guys on the field with that defense. Well, it wasn't 12 men on the field as in like a guy's running off and doesn't beat the snap. They played the play with 12 defenders with 5 minutes left in overtime inside the 5-yard line, and nobody caught it. And the Vikings wind up having to kick a field goal instead of scoring a touchdown. Just ridiculous.
Bad.
So fire everybody with a zebra shirt in that game.
Oh, there's no question.
Count the 12. That's your only job.
No, that's bad.
Yeah.
Because there's a guy out there that's
his job.
So at what point was he like, wait? No,
hold on, I got to count again.
Let me go back. I'm
shoot,
going to do
the ball's being snapped.
I think the plays go.
He's like trying to count. Oh, God.
He was probably the guy that didn't see Hawk getting pulled in the back, like getting pulled down as he was trying to jump for that ball.
Yes,
That was just,
handful of jersey. There's
so
probably
many
10
times.
plays like that too that you could bring up, but those are more like in the okay, all right, whatever. Like that stuff kind of happens. There's things.
I don't know. I think that catch on the sideline was pretty bad, especially because, I mean, that's a major catch. That's one of those ones where you should be like,
it put him in field goal range.
We should be somehow trying to slow the game down so we can relook at this real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, spot the ball slow, do something slow. I agree with you 100%, especially because stuff like that, 12 men on the field, that's kind of a big deal.
Amazing. So fire everyone. Just fire everyone.
I don't even know how to say that.
All right. You wanna break down some of these ridiculous plays?
I cannot wait.
Okay.
I cannot wait. Here we go.
I do want to shout out. We have a new partner on the board here as Booney hacks up his left lung here to start the film review session. We have a new partner on board here on Purple Daily and Score North. If you're looking to restock your liquor cabinet for upcoming, I don't know, football games, holiday parties, Lake Ridge Liquors, over 1,000 wines in stock. They've got the Before I Die from Surly Tall Boys, a 40-foot-long wall of whiskey. Lake Ridge Liquors, just 30 seconds off 694 and Rice Street. Stop in. They're huge listeners of Purple Daily and Score North. Tell them Score North sent you. You can sign up for the rewards program and get you $5 in rewards for your next visit. Again, that's Lake Ridge Liquors off 694 and Rice Street. All right. Let me pop these up here for you. Let's just start with, I'm going to go full screen here. Just some people were requesting a little more action here.
Before we start, I know I'm cutting you off.
No, you're good.
Look at that spacing. Like, you thought I was kidding when I was like, man, they're really testing these guards this year. Was I kidding? Was I kidding?
So this right here is the 4th and 18 Justin Jefferson catch. All right. So you tell me when you say spacing here. So look at this, just for the audience watching on YouTube, and this is the time too. If you're listening on the podcast, 30 minutes in here, there's a great visual here. We're actually showing the plays, and Boone's going to break it down here on the YouTube channel. But so you're talking about this right here.
I mean, we've talked for weeks. We've been talking about how they've been trying to push these guys out to force guards to become tackles because it's the one thing they don't do well, play in space, right? Look at these defensive tackles. You got one that's lined up outside Brian O'Neill, right? And then you got another one that's lined up on, well, I would say he's head up to more outside eye of, who is that, Brendel?
So this is Brendel in for Darisaw. Darisaw's in concussion protocol.
Which is something to take note of, which obviously could be one of those things that you're playing one of the best pass rushers in the NFL right now, and your left tackle's down. But notice the spacing on this, right? And obviously it's 4th and 18. I don't think they're as worried about Kirk Cousins running it up the middle for 20 yards. You know, you got
Although that would be amazing.
That would have been the ultimate momentum take back ever. Like, we're just going to take this back right here. That's ours. Thank you. But first thing you got to notice is they want these guys to be moving in space. They're forcing them to get out and cover a lot of ground quickly, and then they move all over. And two, and I was trying to look because I don't think Von Miller really showed up that much. What do you have? 1 sack?
He had I think a small handful of pressures. I'd have to go back and look, but he did get at least a sack in the game. Yeah.
That's one of the things that I think was to shut him down was one of those ultimate, hey, we're for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can go into a game and just ruin things, especially when you don't have your left tackle. And on a road game, bravo.
And this is a 4th and 18 in which you need a long developing route of some kind. So you definitely, and then the Bills are going to be in a position here where, all right, to what extent do you just drop back full into coverage? Should I run this here? And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, listen, if anything, we cut them and we leave everybody in front of us, right? So you go back. Sliding to the left, which you and I have talked about this.
So Bradbury, sliding to left. So Bradbury is sliding left here.
Yes. Get some kind of a lucky, a lying call, letting the offensive line know we're going. Right side setting. Good hands by Ingram. Great hands here. See how he stuns him? And then a big boy, too.
It looks like, because you've pointed out a couple times how sometimes he gets his lower body out in some bad positions. This looks like he's underneath here.
Yeah.
A little leverage in this spot.
Yeah. He's obviously bracing. This is a big boy coming, so you're not going to get mad about that. A big, big old boy, who, by the way, was way off sides. But here, obviously, you can see Kirk's taking a little bit of pressure from the left side, and it's Bradbury here getting pushed back a little bit, just got to anchor. But for the most part, dude, this on 4th and 18, you're expecting a lot of things to come.
Yeah, and it's pressure, but it's also like this is such
twist.
a long developing. I mean, you have to hold these guys off for probably an extra second longer than usual, just because it's such a long.
Which throwing this ball up, I mean, stop it!
Look at this, dude.
Look how many blue jerseys are there. That is a total effing ball right there.
You have
You to implicitly to make me right. Look, everyone on the field knew exactly where the ball was going, and he still threw it under pressure. Now, if you go back, Bradbury could obviously keep it a little bit cleaner. The right side, the twist, I think this is picked up rather well for a rookie on the road against a big boy. Yeah. This is a good job. Obviously, on the left, we went Bradbury. Sit, dude. Sit, young man. Sit. Kirk makes a great throw, and honestly, you have to make a decision. Who the hell else are you going to throw it to?
Okay, yeah. I think there's an alternate universe called 2018 to 2021 Kirk Cousins, where he throws a pass underneath to T.J. Hawkinson on this play.
Right.
And I know I'm being a Kirk hater when I say that, but I think Kevin O'Connell. Right, I think Kevin O'Connell has drilled it into his head, dude. I know this is a dangerous pass. It doesn't matter, brother. The game is on the line. Throwing it to, yes, Hawkinson's open, and you're praying for 8 yards of yak for a first down, but that's not a winning pass underneath. No. The winning pass is call it a 50-50 ball. It's probably more like a 30-70 ball.
Just gonna say 30-70.
Look at
for
this.
Sure. I mean, that picture alone right there. If you ask me who's got that ball, you're like, oh, that's a pick for sure. But the way that he cradles his body around it and the way that he pulls it into himself is phenomenal. That is incredible. He's landing on his head first.
His legs are in the
I don't think you understand what runs through your mind when the back of your head hits the ground before anything else. It's certainly not let's cradle this ball and take it back.
The best part about this, by the way, is watch the Vikings sideline here. I'm going to run this. It takes the Vikings sideline a few seconds to figure out what the hell, and it's right next to the Vikings sideline too. They don't know what happened. They probably think the same thing you just said, which is, oh, that's an interception. And then watch the explosion. It's probably a pick, right? That's a pick. Oh, wait. Whoa, what? Oh, God.
The best is when you see jackets flying off. That's when you know guys are excited.
Here's the vertical right here. Look at this.
Hey, and there's Kendrick's right there. Yeah. Dude, Kendrick's jacket comes off. Look at him. He's over there screaming at him. Dude, I'm telling you, no matter what happens, these guys have each other's backs.
Here's a side angle here, too. Take a look at this.
It's great. This is great. And you know what I love about this, too, is they kind of talked about this in the game, and this is a big deal if you go back a little bit. Notice how there's a triangle on the sideline. Most great, and this is what we talked about last year with them, is that they're always trying to create this triangle effect, and it's these layers and these levels. And as you watch it, the triangle kind of moves out, and it shifts its angle, right? And it forces defenses to kind of come in here, and then it breaks them back out again. And it's so remarkable to watch.
I feel like their whole offense is just this concept. It's like 2 outbreaking routes, and then something up the seam, or maybe a third outbreaking route, but then there's always backside screen actions that are built in, or it's simple but complicated.
Right. Look over here. Look at Dalvin's on the ground. I know he is, but there's nobody around him.
Here's Dalvin here.
He kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Okay, now that I see this angle, dude, 2018 to 2021 Kirk, 9 times out of 10 throws it to T.J. Hawkinson right here,
or even. Yeah, I would say probably Hawk, for sure.
Look at that. Beautiful, man.
I'm telling you, dude.
Boom. And they actually wind up not scoring on this drive because this was the drive that they came up short on the quarterback sneak.
Yeah. But it's still the one that
absolutely insane.
Was it the one also where Justin came up on the 2-yard line?
Yes.
Toe tap, beautiful.
Actually, can we go to? You brought up Bradbury here. I want to show you this one. This is another. This was a
Oh, I didn't
play.
realize
This might have been
I love how you have them labeled.
You like these?
Ingram steps on Kirk.
You read it. It just says Bradbury's a dumbass. All caps.
I'm over here. I'm like, man, what's going on? Oh, dude! Instantly, my old line brain's kicking on. Look at that, 5 guys. I see them right now. I see how we're getting tested. We got Von Miller, Milano. We got a big nose guard over here. I'm sure that's Ed
What do you
Oliver
call
over
some
there.
of these guys? Known pat. What do you call the
known pass rusher? They're called a spinner.
Okay.
Spinners, and you see guys like they'll touch their head and point to him right away. It lets everybody behind them know he's mine. I see him. He's in my sight. But instantly, right away, what are we thinking, dude? 5 guys up. They're going to do what? Probably twist. Somebody's moving. Someone's going somewhere. The likelihood of everyone rushing straight is not very good, so we should get off the ball.
And this is now the second play we've seen where Dalvin and Hockenson are flipped from the last play here. But you've got, I'm assuming Dalvin's out here to just chip and then either stay in if needed or run a route.
Both of them are. Yeah,
Okay.
leak out late, chip, leak out late. And I think the one thing is that they understand why they're in. Like, a lot of guys go into this and they're kind of like, oh, I'm just here to set a chip. But you're like, I'm here to set a chip on Von Miller. I'm not going to just go out here and randomly run after him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The more that you can affect his rush, the more you're going to help the offensive line. And sometimes a lot of it is if you just step in front of them, it baffles them. Like, they don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, at times it just stutters them. And it's so helpful for the tackle, especially because that's still one of the best pass rushers in the league.
So this is overtime, and this is the pass that set up the Vikings inside the 5-yard line to Justin Jefferson here. So, and I'm showing you this because my amateur eyes told me, wow, Garrett Bradbury, I think, did a great job on this play. This seems like the evolution of Garrett Bradbury here. So you tell me what you see.
Start snap. Obviously, when he starts it, he's on a snap hand, and then he's crossing face. Where's he going? What'd I tell you? Come on now.
Little twist.
They're always going to do something. They're always going to mess with you.
twisting.
Left guard, where are you? Get there. There you go. Look at that hand. You see, if you go back a little bit, you see, like, right when he hits him, see how it's his hand that hits him? He's looking to his left, but he's got that hand coming over here. He's like, feels his presence. Dude, it's awesome. Catches this. Here's what I will say. When you go back originally, it's not a good position, and it's never really is. It never feels like a good position. He does a great job of getting back over to the left. We'd like snap right there, like a little faster. But see how when he snaps, it turns his hips? Never really want to turn. But what I love how he does here, and this is one of those things.
So here he looks, you're saying like right here, he looks like
you're not.
He's
kind
of screwed here.
You think. Like, you're facing the sideline, and this guy's coming barreling down on you, right? But we've talked before about how these guys are so athletic. And I know a lot of people are thinking, like, what's Ed doing? He's in a really tough bind right here. You know what I'm saying? He thinks that he doesn't feel anything to the left, and he sees Von Miller to his right. So he's probably in his mind, like, I know I should not vacate this area. Like, I can't just leave Von Miller all of this green grass on the inside. So he's doing a really good job of holding presence while trying as hard as he can to help the left side. Because believe me, look how much grass that is to cover. And you don't really know what to do. And you get in the game, you get caught in this world of who do I help the most. And we've talked about this on the show. You always go back out to this guy, the known pass rusher. The right tackle is like, dude, I think I'm all alone right now.
Yeah,
when you
so
show up out of nowhere, it is the greatest blessing because you're like, I did not expect anybody. Go out there and break ribs. They used to tell you all the time, break his ribs. But let's go back to Bradbury because what I love about what he does here is how when he flips his hips, he's obviously when he sends this pass rusher, it's not good. You've sent too much of yourself. But he does a great job of flipping his hips back and using Ed Oliver's own momentum against him. See how he dips to turn the corner right there, and Bradbury just kind of hits enough of him that takes him out? Dude.
Almost ends Ed Ingram's season there with an ACL.
We never want to see that, obviously. Look at his ankle. You can kind of see it start to bend. We'd never want to see that. But, dude, that's a great recovery right there. That's called getting it done. And in times, you have to just get it done. And that's a great job. And Kirk just standing in there unfazed, the guy falling at his feet.
Kirk, sneaky good job by Kirk here of not doing anything rash. Okay, let's just move one half step to the left. Boom, here, set feet, and then you'll see a ridiculous throw. This is an absurd throw by Kirk Cousins. Look at this, dude.
You know why it's absurd is because he's throwing it into that angle right there. And the fact that he caught that, like you're putting it on a dime. I'm literally throwing you a pylon.
And that catch obviously is just
incredible.
He makes that look so easy, but boom, inside the 5-yard line, ready to rock and roll. And again, I'm trying to think, would old Kirk, without the empowerment and the encouragement of KOC,
no, he would have been everywhere.
Because this is during training camp, Cousins talked publicly about how we are trying to feel out throws that in my career I would move off of the read because I don't think it's the right throw to make, meaning too dangerous. I think that's my interpretation. And Kevin O'Connell is saying that's not as dangerous. It depends on the situation, but like we need to chunk the ball down the field. And Justin Jefferson, you have to just trust that he's either going to catch it or make it so that it's not an interception, right? I don't think old Kirk throws this pass, dude. I think he checks it somewhere else.
No, and I'm glad you said that because the more you force a defense to cover more of the field, the bigger holes you're going to have. You know what I'm saying? If you continuously just throw these stupid stick routes that you see everybody throwing, they're so easy to cover because eventually the defense doesn't even think you're going to go deep on them. And you don't because you live in this world of like intermediate throws. Whereas when you've thrown these balls, and you're right, it's KOC saying, dude, just throw the ball. Have faith in your receiver. You have the probably number one receiver in the NFL on our team who can afford to run down the field, stretch a defense, double covered, and still make a toe-tapping catch. Nice. We don't have this on every other team, and if you can come around to just throwing this ball, dude, we're going to win so many more games. And it's this vibe and this belief that Kevin's got in his mind that it's okay now. It's okay to throw this ball. Because I'm sure before it was like, you better not lose that ball. Do I want to throw this ball? I want to, but I can't. And now he's like, dude, just heave-ho it down there, my dude. What the hell's the problem? If it goes the other way, we turn around and do what? Hey, we were there though, right? We were close. Close, right? Like it's okay. Well, maybe we learn. We come back later.
The shorter conservative stuff, and there's obviously there's a time and a place. I mean, you might have said Josh Allen probably should have chosen some of those more conservative passes when they're up by 17.
Never.
But those aren't. When I say those aren't winning throws, I mean you can make those throws and not lose a game because you're not throwing an interception or whatever it is. But you're not going to steal a win on the road down 10 against Buffalo by not throwing that pass.
Right. You gotta bully some people. You gotta take chances. We've said that several times on this show. If you want to win in this league, sometimes you just gotta take a chance and throw the ball.
How would you like to break down as a connoisseur of great running games in the NFL an 81-yard touchdown by Dalvin Cook here?
Football. And it's like on the most simple routine play. I love when these happen because people just expect these to be another, oh, look, they just ran it up the middle. All of a sudden, like, see, and you lull people to sleep. This is the definition of lulling the number one defense to sleep. I just want everybody to hear that. The number one defense for 2 years in a row, maybe 3, we'll say 2.5 years.
Yeah.
81-yard touchdown runs don't just come every day. Matter of fact, if you could probably go back and look, I'm sure this is the longest run they've given up by a long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Number one defenses don't give up 81-yard runs because they're disciplined. They're smart. I know what gap I have to fill, but these games, they bring out sometimes the worst in you because you're like, man, we're trying to knock these dudes out and they're not going anywhere. They keep coming out here, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, one goes 81 yards, and they start looking at themselves like, aren't we the number one defense? What the hell?
Not today.
No, bro. Not today, my dude. By the way, they thought that, James Cook was going to get the first touchdown? What are you, crazy?
Dude, there was a picture after the game. So Dalvin and James Cook, their family, they had like 20 people from the Cook family all sitting in the front, like 2 or 3 rows. And after the game was over, they did a jersey swap, and I think it was like Dalvin and James with each other's jerseys and a couple family members in a picture. And Dalvin's got this big ass grin on his face, like, yeah, that's right. James looks as depressed as you can possibly. He's like, why are we taking family pictures? We just blew a 17-point lead.
I'm leaving.
This is depressing.
Dude, it's so hard. It's so hard when you want to go shake somebody's hand after a game after you lost. You're like, listen, man, you came all right. I'm gonna leave. I'll see you later. All right, give me that jersey later. Yeah, I'd say you hate it. All right, hit me with something sweet.
Talk us through this here. So we'll roll. This
we got a simple over front here, guys. Simple over. We get the 3 over here to the 2 tight ends. Instead, I got a little deuce going on over here. Maybe baby.
Look at this. This is a lot of meat right here.
Right?
A couple tight ends over here.
You got something sweet going on over here. Love how you got a little. Here we go. So we're going simple, right? Tight zone. We got a chip on the front, which, by the way, look at that chip by Ezra Cleveland. And look how Bradbury positions himself around the block here. This is what sets us up, number one. You get this block because see how he chips him off the ball. Bradbury gets just enough of him to get around him, and then it causes Ezra Cleveland to get up here to Matt Milano. If you can get this, and this is what you want, and you're telling the running back before, who's coming over here on the side that you don't see him? Justin Jefferson. You want this. Forcing this guy to think he's one-on-one, and then out of nowhere, here comes your, right? Tell him, get up in here. I want you to block him. Why? And I'm not going to name names, but there was a guy maybe in this game. These guys have problems doing this. They don't want to be the tackler. They want to be the guy that picks the ball. They want to do all these things. We're trying to force these cornerbacks to make as many tackles as humanly possible. Right? Safety, we know the safety's going to step up. They're a disciplined defense. They're not just going to let you run around, but who's going to have – let's make him make the tackle. I know you don't want any of that smoke.
This is it, right? I mean, it's 47, man. It's on you, guy, right here.
Now imagine what 47's thinking right now. Like, somebody, anybody, please. Right? Dalvin's laughing. He's already laughing. It was at this very moment that I was like, oh, my God. See? You think I was kidding. Oh, no. Dude, you went to go make that tackle 5 yards away. You know that was fake. So fake.
Oh.
Look at that.
I'm laughing. I can't laugh. I never played football.
No, you can laugh. You can laugh at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I think I got him, guys. You know he closed his eyes. Totally closed his eyes when he went to
Don't
pick
worry,
that
guys.
thing.
I got
Hey, my high school coach would have pulled him out of the game for that. How dare you close your eyes before that? But look.
And now it's a foot race.
Right? But here, go back, because this is the one thing that nobody notices. See this safety right here? Right now.
39 or 40?
39. 39.
Yeah, right.
47's already. You're already cooked, dude. You made a bad decision. 39 takes a terrible angle, and this is why I go back to sometimes you can catch a very disciplined team in an undisciplined situation, and this is it. And they capitalized on it. You know what I'm saying? So
39 needs to treat this like, okay, this is a chunk play. Let's meet him.
Yes.
Out at the 50-yard line or
Dude,
something. Dude,
you're the last resort. You have to be thinking that. You have to be thinking at all costs, I have to get Dalvin Cook down. And he took a bad angle, and you can tell because, right? Yeah, there you go. You see it. Yeah, as soon as you go frame by frame, you can see him kind of turn back up, and that's when he's like, oh, I missed it. And Dalvin's already – you're running from excitement at this point. You're gone. You're in the middle of Buffalo Stadium wondering how many tables got broken today for no good reason because you know what? You forgot we had a run game. Oh, my goodness. Everybody's like, what the hell just happened? He's like, I'm still here. We're just hanging. We're just hanging back here. Don't mind me. Where's my mom? She's got my brother's jersey on.
Okay, I want to go back here. The thing so you pointed this out. This is the stuff that I think as like casual fan guy and the people watching this on the YouTube channel. So you're saying before this play, so number 99 here lining up between Ezra Cleveland and Garrett Bradbury, that the key to this play. So Bradbury knows that this handoff is going to go to his left, our right as we're watching, and he has to get around 99. Because Ezra Cleveland at some point has to get out to the second level to get 58, right?
He's not trying to get around him. He's trying to mash 99 with Ezra.
Right.
But this is called a chip, and it's called a chip for this exact reason. You want to chip his shoulder like this, and you want to get off. And it's a great job of, number one, his footwork. See how all of his weight's, like, as he makes contact, it goes back into him. And just in that very moment, Bradbury flips his hips right there. That little movement right there, it even catches Ed Ingram kind of in the wash, which is fine because, look, 53 stepping up. He gets caught in the wash, too. Dude, you're fired. That's who I'm firing this week. That guy right there.
53?
Yeah, you just completely took yourself out of this play. 39, you're getting fired. 47, you got fired because you closed your eyes. But this is why sometimes, and hear me when I say this, not every play has to be blocked perfectly. Look at Ed Ingram. He's falling on the ground. 53 took himself out of the play. If you can just get the point of attack to look like this. I mean, go back. Look at the size of that hole.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Darisaw barely does anything. He just throws my man out of the club. He's like, get out of the club. Justin Jefferson, which should not be understated, comes in here and does a great job blocking.
Yeah.
A phenomenal job. I want you to find me receivers around the league that block like that. You know what I'm saying? That's one of these things where it's selfless. And when you're Dalvin and you see Justin Jefferson coming in here and making a great block, I mean, that's being a team player. That's what's helping these guys. And this is the thing that keeps coming back. It's the vibe. It's the momentum. It's everybody trusting everybody. And it's everybody having fun with it. This is a routine play. And this should also show you that any play can score for any reason.
God, that's glorious, man. That's just football. It's a beautiful play. I want to do one more here. I want to do and I don't know how much we're going to be able to see of this because it's just a sea of bodies.
Yeah.
But I'd love for you to even just kind of talk, and we only get the one end zone view on the Josh Allen fumble. So what's funny is the Buffalo Bills Twitter account, after the Vikings were stuffed on the quarterback sneak, the Buffalo Bills Twitter account in all capital letters said, 4th down stop, game over. And I had actually gone down to my studio at home to go record Ventline. And I heard Declan, so Declan was on the video screen, but he was in the background, but his mic was hot. And I heard him yelling like, oh God. And I was like, is his feed like 2 minutes behind mine? He goes, dude, they scored a touchdown. I said, no, they reviewed it. The quarterback sneak got stopped. He goes, no, like Eric Kendricks just scored a touchdown. And so I don't know how much you're going to be able to see from this.
Yeah, we don't need to really see anything because we can talk about it. This situation.
So you're an offensive line. It's at the quarter-inch yard line, and you need to move forward to run the clock out. That's what's happening.
Right, and everybody knows what play you're running, which sucks because look at Kendricks and Hicks right here. They know too. They're like, dude, there's no way that you're ever going to flip this ball out to the outside. Why? Because you could mess that up really bad, especially in this situation. These situations are so chaotic because it's so loud and it's so deafening and everybody's screaming at the same time. And at the same time, you're trying to pick your quarterback's voice out of everybody else's. And sometimes it's a challenge, right? Like, he kind of gets muffled in there with everybody else. And that's when you kind of close your eyes and you're like, find his voice. He's in here somewhere. Yeah. I'm going to hear him. But here's the biggest problem. The center. See the center? See the nose guard? See how he's on that snap hand?
Well,
I'm telling you, man.
You know who that is.
Dude.
That's former Buffalo Bill Harrison Phillips.
So you think he's got a little something to prove?
Is there anything? So real quick, I don't know if you. So watch this real quick. This dude practiced against these guys for years, every single day, right? Watch what he does right before the ball is snapped here. Harrison Phillips. Whoop! I'm just gonna shift over here real quick. Literally right as the ball is being snapped. What is that? What's he doing there?
You know what he's doing? He's messing with the center. Because what I just tell you, it's a chaotic situation, and all of a sudden at the last second, the guy that you're blocking, because in a situation like this, you don't have a certain person, they tell you to wedge. So you're wedging to the nearest player. So right before the snap, it was the right guard in the center. See how they're going to kind of wedge him out of there, and then the quarterback will follow him out, right? Or a good quarterback will go right here to where the wedge is not going. Because you see how the center and the right guard are going to double Phillips. And then the left guard and the left tackle are going to double I can't see who's in there.
Is that Daniil? It might be.
It can't be Daniil.
That might be Wanham in there. Or no, is it Dalvin Tomlinson in there?
That's who it is. It's probably Dalvin Thompson, right? So then the quarterback's going to go right there. At the last second, when you do that, number one, the left guard shits his pants because he's like, wait a minute. Who do I work with? You know what I'm saying? See how he kind of gets – he doesn't really block anybody. He lets Harrison go underneath him, and at the same time, he's trying to, like, get there. And then all of a sudden, the center, who's thinking, I'm working with the right guard, is now working with the left guard. Like, dude, it just puts you in a huge bind. And this is why the ball probably did not get up there. And it's not being talked about. Yeah. Because the center at the last second, and he sees it happening, but he's also listening to the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can get caught in that, like, listening, waiting. I'm the one snapping the ball. Oh, my gosh, this guy in front of me switching complete sides. Does my guard know? Oh, my God, was that Hut? Like, it's – dude.
By the way, that 95, by the way, is it's Kiris Tonga. They just they had him up for this game. So 95 is
kind
of a backup depth interior offensive lineman on this play. Just FYI.
Yeah. Dude, that's a very savvy vet move. Because, look, you can see Josh, as soon as he doesn't get the ball, goes into total panic mode looking for it. I mean, you would too. Imagine being him, and everybody knows where it is. And it's, as an offensive line, you know you cannot lose. You're on the 1-inch line. You have nothing to give up. Everyone's coming after you. And it was kind of talked about after the game. Should they have taken the safety here? And I think this will go to prove to people's point, like, you should just, at some point, you should probably just take that safety. And
just go run like 7 seconds off the clock and go like run to the back pylon.
It's hard to ask somebody up front to block when people are moving around, and then at the same time, Kendricks is running in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, the right guard's expecting. Look, he's expecting Harrison to be there, and he's not. He's kind of like, oh boy, this is going to be bad.
Amazing,
very
man.
savvy move.
And of course, I think my computer just crashed for the film session, which means
I believe it.
Time to say goodnight to the Buffalo Bills for the episode. But man, so what is it in those situations? You know, and I guess it helps that you're playing at home, but it is still loud and there's just a lot of chaos and different things. But that has to be nerve-wracking, even as a professional who's been there before. It's like, we don't have – it's not like being on the 5-yard line or something. We can take a knee. I mean, you can't take a knee. No. You have to run a play, and you have to go forward in that situation.
But in that situation, any great coach, and I've heard them say this several times, it comes down to who wants it more. You know, like I've said, it's really hard to block somebody when they switch sides at the last second, which I'm sure it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But in that moment – these are some of the things that you have to figure out as it's happening, and you have to be like, listen, I gotta hone in right now and figure out what's going on. And the great teams will follow through. And the Vikings, stopping them there, getting that momentum back, Kendricks doing a little catwalk, like everything was just so awesome. And that's what makes football. And it comes back to who wants it more and shows that these Vikings are not giving up. Yeah, you stopped us on the 1-inch line. Can you stop our defense now? Because now we're going to come for you. We're going to bring we know what you're doing. You know we know what you're doing. And we're going to all line up right here, and we're going to figure out who wants it the most. Oh, by the way, your center can't even get the ball up to the quarterback. Good luck.
Amazing. I'll give you one more stat, by the way. Is Zadarius Smith now? We haven't really talked about him. He had another kind of just a handful of pressures in the game. He was just he got hurt for a little while, but he has 10 more pressures this season than the second place edge rusher. So he is, I mean, he's one of the best defensive players in the league, and you just took him off the Packers and just plopped him on your team for the year. And even when he's not getting sacks, when he's not getting home, he's still wreaking havoc on, one in every 3 dropbacks. So, and
that's what's so cool too, is like, you don't have to get sacks to be effective. You don't have to get sacks to get a quarterback in this mentality of sometimes these guys would run around the quarterback and they would just say the dumbest things. They weren't even right half the time. But I almost got there. And it was like, no, you didn't. But you knew that the minute the quarterback heard that, he was probably thinking in the back of his mind, did he? Did he almost hit me? Hey, did he almost hit me? Tell me the truth. Like, no, I swear he didn't. Right? But it's like, now you know you have Daniil Hunter, you You have Zadarius, you have Wanham. Like, there's guys on this team that you have to think about at all times. And that's why it's so fun to watch these guys. And you don't have to get these sacks and show up in these prolific. Yeah, they get them. And believe me, watching Daniil run through people or Zadarius do this quick TE around the edge where nobody sees him coming, or all of a sudden the center has to take him from 5 yards away and just completely bull rushes him or swipes his hands. Like, that's so fun. But at the same time, it's fun also watching them just, like, shrink the pocket slowly. The ball gets out, goes wildly, and you see everybody laughing. And it's because they know we're close. We're gonna get there eventually. And until somebody stops us and proves that they're not going to let us get home, we're going to get home.
Yeah. Amazing, man. This season's been a blast.
I know.
Fun.
We're only like
take us to school every week too. It's great.
We're only like halfway there too.
I know.
There's so much more football. That's another thing. I'm glad you said that. This game doesn't mean they're going to be 16-1. Could they? Sure, they absolutely could. But they have to continue fighting. And now that you went out and you beat the Bills, you put a big target, which is, and I've always said that it's more fun to be hunted than to hunt. You know what I'm saying? When you feel the animosity of the other team and they're like, yeah, we're playing the league's best, you're like, you're goddamn right you are.
That's right.
You better try this ass whipping, boy. It's so fun. It's so fun. And then when you don't hear about them in the media, it's like, what are they doing? What's going on over there?
Well, too, and on Monday, I felt like, Declan and I were both kind of sampling some of the national shows. I mean, that was the game of the season so far. And
easily.
And most of the conversation is about, are the Buffalo Bills not as good? Or did the Buffalo Bills blow at this? It was like 80% chatter about Josh Allen and the Bills. And, oh, God, they lost their offensive coordinator to the Giants, for head coaching job. And it was like, the Vikings are pretty good, too. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. We'll see if they're for real. And I think the Vikings like it that way. I think they would prefer for the chatter to be 80% Buffalo so they can just go about their business.
Continue going under the radar on people. But I'm letting you know now that there's nobody in the league that would watch that game and be like, man, the Bills really ruined that game. Everyone's like, did you see what's going on over there? What's going on over there? Anyone talk to them? Somebody call. Are they having fun? Because they look like they're having fun. We are not having so much fun. You think Houston's having fun right now? I don't think they're having any fun. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. And I love it. It's fun to watch.
It's great, man. All right. Well, we could talk for 10 hours. We're going to save some for next week here. And we got a Thanksgiving game coming up as well. So I'm sure you'll have 19 pies in the oven for that.
I got yelled
at tonight
changed for eating a pie.
What kind of pie? Was it worth getting yelled at?
I haven't eaten it yet. Blueberry. Apparently, like a pie on ice, not what you're supposed to do. I was like, I'm just trying to gain weight at this point.
Well, you're trying to gain weight again?
I'm trying so hard.
Are you coming back again? Did Pete Carroll call you again?
No, I wish. No, I can't be this thin anymore, dude. It's too much.
Well, if you need help eating pie, you know who to call. All right, call me
soon. You and I are going to do a special soon.
We're not even going to talk. We're just going to do an episode of Trenches where we just slowly eat pie and stare into the camera awkwardly while football music plays in the background. I think that's.
Or we just have highlights. What a great theme song, right? Such an old school song. I love it.
That's right. All right, we got to run. He's Alex Boone, 10-plus year NFL vet. Phil Mackey. This has been Trenches with Boone on Purple Daily, the Purple Daily YouTube channel. If you could click the subscribe button and the like button, you can help spread the word about this daily Vikings